Well, I know I promised search algorithms starting this week, but I decided to have a little change of pace. Today, we're gonna actually do a Let's Chat episode. Just some kind of meaningful vlog type stuff instead of, continuing with all the heavy algorithm work. So what's gonna happen is for you guys waiting for search algorithms, you're gonna have to wait one more week. And next Wednesday, we'll actually begin that series. As for now, we're gonna talk about going paperless. It is the 8th of January 2014, a Wednesday. You're watching 0612 TV. This is 0612 TV.
Welcome aboard.
Hello and welcome to Let's Chat. Now, I actually did a pretty interesting experiment over the past half a year that I just wanted to share with you. So without any further preamble, I'm going to start off by giving you a little bit of background regarding, how this entire thing came about. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am actually a university student at the National University of Singapore. I'm currently in my second year, and if you know anything about university life at all, you probably know there are a whole lot of papers. Not in terms of the homework type of papers, but things like lecture notes, assignments, just your normal rough work paper. And really it's just a lot of paper to lug around, especially if you're taking 5 modules per semester. Every module has its own stuff, and more often than not, you end up with a file that gets pretty thick. Now, sometime in July or maybe August of 2013, that is right before the start of my second year, well, I laid my hands on a Nexus 7 tablet. That is the 2012 edition. I went for the older one, hoping that the price would be lower. It was slightly. But anyway, that's not the point. Apart from wanting a kind of powerful entertainment device with me, I wanted to actually see how far this would go to replace actual printed lecture notes and assignments and things like that. Now, in the past, what I would do is, the lecturers will upload their lecture material onto this platform online. And what I'll do is I'll print it out and then bring that to the lecture or the lesson and take notes and annotations on that actual paper. So obviously that was the first thing I needed to replace. An actual physical media that I could write notes and just make various annotations on. That was one of the most important components that still had to be there. Obviously this device is a mix of both an entertainment device, like I'll watch videos on my bus trip home. So as you would imagine, the device would require a pretty good battery life. It easily had to go 6 to 8 hours because, I'll be spending time in the lessons, I'll be spending time on the bus using it as an entertainment device, and all of these takes a toll on the power. And finally, one of the things I was looking for is to actually reduce the actual paper usage. Apart from the obvious environmental advantage this confers, this also means less weight for me and less things to file at the end of the semester. It's actually been the end of that semester for a while now, and that semester has actually passed, just about a month ago. And I've actually gone an entire semester pretty much as paperless as I could go. First of all, most if not all of our notes came in a PDF format, and since this is an actual Android tablet, I was able to download this program called iAnnotate PDF. It was able to display the lecture notes themselves, which, kind of needs to happen. And I was able to add things like comments, that is a box you can type text in, as well as handwritten annotations. Now I confess I didn't actually buy like a stylus or something like that to make handwriting easier. And of course the Nexus 7 isn't a Galaxy Note, so it doesn't have, active digitizer. But I realized that most of the time, by just using text annotations, it was good enough. Bearing in mind that I did one math module and I kinda did that on paper, mainly because, it's really not practical to either type or write out, math stuff on the tablet. So that is one unfortunate shortcoming. But if you're doing any lesson that doesn't involve a whole lot of weird symbols, you're probably fine just by using text. The battery life on the Nexus 7 was pretty spectacular. I did actually use it for pretty extended periods like I described earlier, and it held up. And here is the remarkable conclusion. I was able to cut down my paper use by approximately 2/3. That is of course a very rough estimate just based on observation, but normally what happens is throughout the semester my file gets thicker and thicker. and eventually one day I decided it's too thick. I start taking out papers and filing that stuff, and then the file goes thin again, and then it starts filling up again. Normally I have to empty it 3 times a semester, approximately. Normally the last time is at the end of the semester where I take everything out for filing. For this past semester, what happens is, basically I never did anything to my file. It got thicker, yes, but far slower, and it took pretty much the entire semester to fill up to what I would call thick. So yeah, I'd say in terms of paper saved, it's definitely a very significant number. Really, the only drawback to this setup is if you actually have an open book exam and, well, you didn't have printed lecture notes. Of course, you kind of lose out in that sense that you don't have something to refer to. Of course, it's not so much of a problem for me because even for actual open book exams, I don't feel the need to bring a whole stack of lecture notes in. I mean, come on, you're not gonna have time to flip through that stuff anyway with the paper in front of you and the time ticking down. Normally, what I'll do is I'll actually summarize the entire semester's worth of material into a few pieces of paper and bring that in. So essentially, these are the exact same set of steps for me, even when going paperless, seeing as that I'll just refer to, the digital version instead and write my own notes. Oh, and what's cool about iAnnotate PDF is that all the features I mentioned earlier are actually features that are in the PDF specification. What that means is the changes you make using that application are actually saved within the PDF file. When you copy the PDF file to your computer and you open it in, say, Acrobat Reader, those annotations, including all the handwritten ink annotations, all show up within the document. You cannot imagine how convenient that actually is. It makes things so much easier. So why am I sharing all this information with you today? I think the point I really want to make is going paperless is surprisingly feasible. At least as a student, I find that this replacement actually works, it actually makes sense, and there is a very real, a very tangible benefit to doing so. And I didn't waste ink either. For those of you still using inkjet printers, which probably would be most of you, that is also a pretty huge save, seeing as that, ink is costly. If you are a student, you could really consider doing this, especially if you already have a tablet. Like, I know most people actually have iPads and stuff like that, even though not all of them actually use it during the actual lessons. So yeah, definitely give this a try. If you're using an Android tablet, I would recommend iAnnotate PDF, which is a free app that, as far as I'm aware, has no restrictions of any kind. Just load up your PDFs onto your tablet and iAnnotate PDF will do the rest. It's definitely a great idea, and since it's reasonably near the start of the year, I thought I'll share it with you now, as early on as possible, and you could actually give it a try for this semester that probably just started, or is starting soon. Anyway, that's it. That's pretty much all I have to say about that. If you have any comments, queries, or suggestions, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. Don't forget to check out the official Twitter account for this channel at twitter.com/0612tv. As always, I appreciate every like, favorite, and subscription you give me. But until next time, you're watching 0612TV.